Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I don't look so fresh, huh? I've had this makeup on for going on 9 hours now. And I had someone ask me, I don't know, they sent a DM on Instagram, I don't remember how long ago it was, asking me how I touch up my makeup. Like, what are my tips for touching up my makeup? And I was like, oh, well, that's a good idea for a video. So I'm gonna show you how I touch up my makeup. Now, full transparency, this is if I am at home, not if I am on the go. If I am on the go, I will press some powder on my T-zone and call it a day. Like, I'm not trying to take all this with me in a makeup bag. You can if you want, but that's just not me. But if I am at home and I just do not want to wash my face and reapply my makeup, which I rarely ever do, like ever. It's just something I really despise doing. But maybe I have somewhere to go and I do need to freshen up. These are the steps that I take. I don't anticipate this being a long video because there's not that many steps, but you know how I get, so who knows. The first thing that I do is the one thing that I would do on the go, and that is just touch up my face with a powder. Now, I am trying out a new foundation today, and it's the first time I had worn it, and I have already touched up once with the powder that I carry in my purse, the La Mer, which I talked about in last video, I think, my powder video. Since I'm at my vanity, and I talked about how I always use my Charlotte Tilbury with my Jane Iredale flock sponge. So I will just take a little bit of this on my flock sponge and I will press it right here. One of the many reasons I like this is the shape, because it just really kind of sits in that T-zone, and I hope you're able to see. I don't know if you can see, it's a little bit shinier right here than it is there. It just completely mattified that side without making it look cakey. And that is typically that, and then a little bit on the chin, and then maybe a little bit pressed right here. That's why another reason I really like to press this product in versus have a brush and kind of dust it on, because to me that doesn't really do what I want it to do. The sponge not only applies the product, but I find will kind of soak up any excess oil on the face. And there have been many times where I just grab this and I don't put any product on it and I just kind of press it around my face and it does the job. That's the main thing I do first and foremost to touch up my makeup. Now, it's been 9 hours, and while I absolutely adore the concealer combination that I've been using, which is the Chantecaille Future Skin Gel Foundation, it wears fabulously. I do have a little habit of picking, especially if I'm working at my computer, which if I'm not on a job or filming, that's what I'm doing during the day, I will like pick the mascara off of my eyelashes. I don't pick my eyelashes out, but I do tend to just pick the mascara off. So I tend to have flakes that are of my own doing under my eyes, and then I'll go like this throughout the day. I'll take it and I'll wipe it away, which in turn doesn't fare the best sometimes with my concealer. So even though I don't really feel like I need it, I'm gonna show you what I do in the case that I feel like I do need it. I love this. I did an Instagram reel on this a while ago. This is the Hourglass Veil Retouching Fluid. So this is not a concealer. In my opinion, it's not even called a concealer. It is called a retouching fluid. And I tried this one time when I knew I had absolutely nowhere to be, because I was like, I just want to see if it actually works. It actually works. I am in the shade Natural, and I just put a couple little dots like this right on kind of like my tear trough where I get the darkest. Notice I have my concealer and my powder still on from earlier today. And then I just lightly tap it with my finger. And there's something pretty magical with how this retouches the under eyes. Now, obviously, you can see that there's some liquid under the eyes now. It is not made anything more cakey. It has not messed up the concealer and powder underneath. Please do not ask me how that works, because I have no idea. I knew for sure the first time I used that, it was not going to work, but it did. But because you can tell that it is a liquid that has not been set down, whereas the rest of my face has, I will go in with some kind of brightening, under eye brightening powder. This one's really good for very, very cheap. This is Wet n Wild Bare Focused Clarifying Finishing Powder. and I'm in the shade Fair Light. And I got this shade specifically because I wanted to use it for this step. So I don't always use the veil fluid, but if I feel like maybe my concealer has worn well throughout the day, but it has faded a little bit, then I will brighten up my under eyes with this. But you can see I just kind of press that in on top of the veil fluid. And I hope you can see across the camera. I don't know how well until I edit it's going to come across, but I hope you can see that it did indeed brighten that area up. Now, because we did some work under our eyes, all of that lovely buffing that I did to add eyeshadow under the lash line at the very beginning of the day has since gone away and faded. So I use the Fit Glow Beauty Multi-Use Cheat Color in Sunkissed. So I'm just going to quickly touch that up. I'm not even using a mirror, y'all. With the full face already done, it's gonna look the way I want it to. And it doesn't matter that I already have mascara underneath my eyes. It's just putting that pop of shadow back. I don't feel like I need to touch up anything on top of my eyelids, except I will put a little bit more of the inner corner highlight because that does fade very quickly through the day. So I'm just gonna take what I used earlier. This is the Fit Glow Multi-Use Cheat Color in Golden Hour. This is also what I have on my eyelid, and just touch up that inner corner. A lot of times I feel like I need to reapply blush, but I really don't feel like I need to today. I used the same Sun-Kissed shade that I used for eyeshadow. So the next main thing I'm gonna do is touch up my mascara. Now, this is something that is not always easy to do. I certainly don't recommend you putting on a couple coats of mascara in the morning and then 4 hours later going in and putting a couple coats again. Mascara dried is not the best canvas to reapply mascara on. But like I said earlier, I do tend to just kind of pick away at the kind of tips of my lashes. So I'm gonna take whatever mascara I used. In this case, it is the Jane Iredale Beyond Lash. And I'm gonna take it and I'm really just gonna apply it back and forth just on the tips of the lashes. It's going to give not only a look of fresher mascara, but also more mascara without having to actually apply it to the whole lash, which would do nothing but kind of break your lashes off. And then finally, I just reapply some kind of lip product. It is typically a gloss. I'm using the Chantecaille gloss in Charm, which you can see is very well loved and used. And it is really just a nude gloss. And that's really all I do just to freshen up my makeup. A couple more things you could do if you wanted to. If you felt like some of your foundation had rubbed off around your nose, which typically if you rub your nose or your chin throughout the day, it can happen, then that's when I would just pull out a powder foundation. This is the MAC Studio Fix. Use that same flock sponge and just kind of use that to add a little bit more coverage around the areas that may have gotten more red throughout the day. And then finally, if you are going somewhere like a night out and you're wanting to make it more evening appropriate, I would simply just add a little more darkness to the eye. So I'm just gonna pull out the palette that was literally sitting right here. I did not use this palette this morning. I just used the two colors that I showed you from Fit Glow, but this is the Natasha Denona Biba palette. And I'm just going to go into Pasha right here with that same brush that I used for underneath the lash line. And I'm just gonna put a little bit on this outer corner just to darken things up, smoke things out just a little bit, but you're not having to take anything off. You're just adding something on. Now, obviously, if you had this on to begin with, then you might want to touch the color up, but you wouldn't need to add anything. That to me is the easiest way to make something more nighttime appropriate. Maybe a darker lip and a little bit more color on the eyes. And then of course, I have to touch up my perfume. Now, whether it be the same perfume that I wore that morning or a different one, wholly depends on how well the initial perfume that I put on stayed and it's been 9 hours. So, you know, I only have a few perfumes in my collection that will last that long. So I am going to touch up, but I think I'll use something different. And I want something a little bit brighter. I've been doing a lot of vanillas in preparation for my vanilla video later this month. And I just want something brighter. So I'm going to use my Peony Pop from Hermetica. I love this. This is a floral, fruity, blackcurrant, raspberry, plum type of scent. To me, this could be a year round, but I do think it's more suited for spring and summer. But there are some times like today where I just get a little vanilla and ambered out and I want something more bright and uplifting. And that's when I'll pick out something like this. I love this. Hermetica is a line that does not use alcohol. If you do not like alcohol in your fragrances, definitely a line to check out. I also love Sandal Sun. I love Vanillite. And there's a couple of other ones. I need to add more to my collection in full sizes because they are outstanding in performance on my skin, especially this one, especially for being alcohol free. So definitely check that out. That's it. Very, very simple, but was requested and I wanted to show you because it is a couple more steps than just touching up with powder. But to me, it makes a big difference. It's very quick. You're not having to wash your face, but it definitely freshens things up a little bit. So thank y'all so much for watching. As always, I will have everything listed and linked down in the description box. If you have any questions, please let me know. Be sure and like and subscribe before you leave so you don't miss out on any future videos. And I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day.